Hello, my name is Jimmy Johnson, and I'm a member of the Charles City County Fire Department, and I'm here tonight to go over the CRR plan for Charles City County, better known as the Community Risk Reduction Plan. This plan was created to identify structures or buildings within the county that may pose a risk if something were to happen in an emergency capacity. These buildings were identified through a SWOT analysis, SWOT, which stands for strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So once these buildings were identified through the SWOT analysis, there was a need to create a plan, the CRR plan, Community Risk Reduction Plan. We want to have a plan in place as a Charles City Fire Department in case something happens. We don't want to go to an emergency situation and have no plan, nothing in writing, nothing to direct us on what we need to do or the resources we may need to have when we get there. We don't want to be taken by surprise. So once we created this risk reduction plan, that's exactly what it does. It gives us a written plan on how to mitigate emergencies in the identified structures that I'm about to go over with you. Just to give you a little background history on Charles City County. Charles City County is made up of about 7,000 residents. It's 204 square miles of land and forestry. It has a pipeline, a colonial pipeline that runs right through Charles City County, which presents its own different hazards. It's the home for 2 presidents, and we're surrounded on 2 sides by water, the Chickahominy River and the James River. Charles City is one of the oldest counties in the United States, so there's a lot of historical value in this county, and there's a lot of historical buildings here. So we want to make sure that we have a plan that will protect these buildings and mitigate emergencies as fast as possible. So one of the first identified structures is the Industrial Air Park. This facility houses several different businesses which deal with certain different elements. They have lots of chemicals over there. They have a very high fire load of materials inside of these buildings. So we identified that as a very high potential risk. We do have fire hydrants in this area, but they're not used for firefighting. They're only used for refilling trucks. So if something was to happen over there, we would need, resource-wise, lots and lots of water and lots of people. Second, the next building we identified as a risk in our SWOT analysis was the high school and the elementary school. Now, we do have one hydrant over there, which again, Charles City has no hydrants for firefighting, but we do have one fire hydrant at the high school that's used just for refilling water. It's not so much as a risk like the air park for the chemicals and things at the high school. The risk there is the amount of people within the high school that could be hurt if something was to happen there. So that's why that was identified as a risk factor for a structure. The next structure we have is the government complex. Now, this government complex is a very old complex. The newest building we have there is a library, but everything else is very old. The administration building is there, the courthouse is there, the sheriff's office and jail is there, and a library. And there are no fire hydrants for refilling trucks there. And the amount of people that come in and out of the buildings each day is a lot. So we identified that as a high-risk area. Along with the amount of people that comes through there, we have all of our historical records kept in buildings in that area. So we want to make sure that we can preserve these buildings as best possible. And like I said, we don't have fire hydrants there. A lot of those buildings don't have sprinkler systems because when they were constructed, that wasn't part of the fire code. As a matter of fact, we didn't even have a fire code that was adopted until 2018 in Charles City County, which I was responsible for. So the next structure on the list is the plantations in Charles City. Now, some of you all may have different feelings or reasons why you think we should or shouldn't worry about the plantations, but they are historical structures. Some of them still house residents in them. So we want to make sure that we can protect these structures. The special thing about the plantations is that they are off of the road quite a ways, sometimes 2 miles off of the road. And like we said before, there's no fire hydrant, so we're going to need plenty of resources and plenty of water. Oftentimes these structures are 7,000 or 8,000 square foot homes back in the woods. So we have several obstacles we're going to face when dealing with a fire at one of these structures. So resources is going to be the main thing for that. We're going to need lots of water. We're going to need lots of manpower. And it's one thing in Charles City that's going to make a big difference or dictates everything we do in Charles City is time and distance. Charles City, like I said, is 204 square miles. Everything is spread out. So when we get a call, the time that it takes to get the call and get there to start mitigating the situation is sometimes 15 minutes, maybe 20, maybe 30. So we want to make sure that we have a plan when we get there. We don't have no time to waste. So that's part of what this CRR plan does, the Community Risk Reduction Plan. It identifies high-risk structures. It gives us a plan. It tells us what we're going to need to mitigate that situation, whether it's going to be water, whether it's going to be manpower, whether it's going to be special trucks to help suppress fire, maybe like a foam truck, or maybe we need to call a helicopter or any type of resources that should be within the plan. As I said, this is just a quick high-level introduction to what the CRR plan for Charles City is. Once we continue to build upon this plan, we will continue to update each and every one of y'all. Thank you for your time.